hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome, you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So on this show, there is no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk now, formerly, or later. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be 88% happy. So I have topics and guests. You saw the extended intro. I've had a plethora of fabulous, half the cast of Happy Days on the show because this is about happiness and choosing it. And I picked topics that relate to all the ways in which your happiness can be affected. And I am so delighted to bring to you today a very special guest. It's his first time. We've been trying probably like 5 or 6 years to do this, but that's okay. It's worth the wait. Let me give you a little introduction of this man that you see in my studio hot seat today. One of the best parts of attending the award-winning Secret Knock Business Event of the Year, Yahoo Finance, Forbes, etc's list, is the amazing roster of speakers that my friend, Dr. Reid, puts on together every year. And I'm not just saying that because I've spoken on his stage several times as well. Yeah, but one of my favorite speakers was Gene McNaughton, who was the global VP of sales for Tony Robbins and was one of the few to actually share his stage. Now, Gene was releasing his book on sales success when I was also launching my book, Baby, 8 Ways to Happiness, and reached out to congratulate me on my book signing at Barnes & Noble. And since I collect compliments, we've been friends ever since. Now, Gene is regarded as one of the world's top business growth experts. He's currently on an exclusive assignment with GeoBear, one of the world's largest geotechnical ground engineering companies, where his assignment was to launch GeoBear into the U.S., establish the company in all aspects to prepare it to scale across the U.S. What's most interesting is that he is not a geotechnical engineer and had no experience whatsoever in that field. He's betting his 35 years of experience in growing companies that he could do it again in a brand new industry. Please welcome to my studio today, Mr. Gene McNaughton.
Right.
Yay. Welcome.
What an introduction, man. I watched the first 3 minutes and all the famous people that you have and all the great insights you're getting. And I was kind of like, gosh, am I in the wrong place? What am I doing here with all these extraordinary people? So I had a little imposter syndrome going on there for a moment. Man, I better step up my game today.
Well, I wanted you to feel special because you are. And his humility, as you can tell, is one of the reasons why I was drawn to him. And it was delightful reconnecting with you at this last Secret Knock, actually at the party. So, and I met your wife, and we got a little dance in, and I'm delighted that we reconnected. And we've sort of stayed in touch, because of the book and all of that. So, and then I see you on LinkedIn because you're a first connection. And it's like million views this, hit million views that. And then I see GeoBear and I'm like, something happened. He's working for a bear company. So I'm like, okay, we got to talk. And this is the best thing about my show is I get to bring people and just have a conversation and get to what's going on. So I am, however, streaming live right now so that if anybody who's going to tune in now or late, well, later you can't ask questions, but right now you have the opportunity to sit at the feet, which I'm doing, and learn about how you can scale businesses. That's not my area of expertise at all. And you've had 35 years of business experience across a myriad of platforms or fields as well. Yes. That I'm just excited and delighted to learn from you today. Now, before we do that, I start every show with breakfast with my guest or my co-host, which is take a bite out of my gratitude sandwich. So, yes.
Okay.
The top of the bun are gratitudes. What am I grateful for outside of myself? And then the bottom of the bun, which I want you to do before you go to bed, is what do I like about myself? Because it's my BS, my belief system, that the fundamental foundation of good mental health is self-care, self-love, self-soothing, self-approval.
Yeah.
And too many of us are walking around going, who likes me? Who approves of me? Who respects me? And especially with social media, we're counting numbers to define how good we are. And that's very not helpful. So I'm working our muscles in the morning to
beautiful
to know who you are and the goodness that you are. All right. So let's start with outside of ourselves. Normally I do 8, but I want to get to you and what you're doing and all the advice that you have. So we'll just do 3. And we'll go back and forth. So I'll start. I'm grateful for living in a country that we have running water, electricity, clean. You can buy things, good food. And for that, I am grateful.
I am grateful for my family, because the people closest to you really are the propellers or the opposite of happiness. I'm grateful that Jennifer and I have built a situation that's not perfect. I don't think there is such a thing as perfect, but we really put focus on family, faith, fun, and I get a chance to live that with this extraordinary woman.
Oh, beautiful. 3 F's in there. I am grateful that today I get to go pick up my Chinese visa, because I got invited to lecture at 2 universities in Shanghai.
Nice.
So I'm leaving in June, and for that, I am very grateful.
I am grateful for personal growth. And part of that says that I'm super grateful that live seminars are back and in full force. I just had a chance to go to Phoenix, Arizona last week. You might have saw this on LinkedIn, where I had a chance to spend 2 days with Dr. Robert Cialdini. And if you don't know who this guy is, he wrote the all-time best-selling book called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. So I had 2 full days with the godfather of influence. And this Saturday, I'm going to see a guy by the name of Dr. Ben Hardy, who is an author of a book called Be Your Future Self Now. And I'm just excited to be in the room as a student. I spent a lot of years being in the room as one of the presenters, one of the teachers, one of the trainers, one of the coaches. And I like, even at 56 years old, having my journal and being there and just saying, bring it on, baby, bring it on. Just take stuff down. So I'm excited about personal development and live events.
Beautiful. And that's a great segue to the bottom of the bun, because we want to appreciate things about ourselves. You appreciate your expanded and desire to continue to expand and grow and learn. I appreciate my ability to break away from the Asian woman stereotype and be a mouthpiece and talk and not be afraid to talk, which, it is. I don't know if I told you about that one huge show that I did with an astrologer who did my, chart or whatever. I'm a reluctant woo-woo, but she said, you're a Leo in 5 planets. And I said, what does that mean? She says, you just can't help yourself. You got to be on camera. You got to be in front. You got to be, and then literally 8,000 pounds of shame that I had been carrying. Because every time I opened my mouth, I would hear my mom, don't talk, don't be out there, don't toot your own horn, don't, all of that ancestral shame just left me. So I appreciate that I'm happy that I'm an Asian woman. And at the same time, I know who I am and why I'm here, and being quiet isn't one of them.
I only know this doctor right here. I don't know that other person. I think we've been running in the same circles for 10 years plus, and see each other maybe once a year. Over COVID, of course, we didn't see anybody, but I'm grateful that you are you, period. Because every time we get in these rooms, and this is something for everybody, like, man, if you feel like you're in a rut, if you feel like you're stagnant, if you feel like you're just bored, go to an event with other like-minded people. Now, there is an event in your city, whatever it is. Now, if you can pay some money and go see one of these speakers or an author or somebody that lights your fire, that lights you up, and then go, because us being here right now, you getting a chance to witness myself and Dr. Marissa have this conversation. All of this happened because we both chose to go to an event of which we met. We became familiar with each other. And here we are years later doing something. Hopefully this next half hour is going to help some people. I hope to share some of the insights and the struggles I've had and some of the things I've learned to get through those struggles to help you too.
Beautiful. Great commercial. And speaking of which, Dr. Greg Reid is having another event for Secret Knock in Las Vegas in September. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go because I'm throwing my Chinese mom, a 90th birthday in Toronto. Are you going? Maybe not yet.
I'm actually going to be going back to my hometown where we'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary of winning a state football championship. I'm not missing that. I am not missing that.
Oh, can't do that. But that's great. But if you have never heard of Secret Knock, it is by invitation, but you can go and submit, and you'll meet people like Gene and I. Gene definitely. Me, you've had enough of. So, but it is what you're saying. I think Greg says you are the 5 people that surround you, or somebody said that, right? That you reflect that. So absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me for breakfast, Gene. Thank you. Hopefully you will practice this for the next 28 consecutive days. This good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline. I promise if you start your day with taking a bite of a gratitude sandwich, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. So thank you for doing that with us. All right, here we go. Business. Let's talk business.
Okay.
Now, did you know when you were a kid that you'd be doing this? Like, is this something that you knew? Were you a kid entrepreneur? Did you sell newspaper, or how did this whole business deal come into play?
Well, I grew up wanting to be a professional wrestler, actually, or a professional athlete, of which that was really how I expressed myself in grade school, middle school, and high school. I loved sports. And I think what I loved as much as I loved the sport and competition was the attention I would get when performance would be good. Once I got into college, I played college football, and I quickly realized that, being a professional athlete was probably not in the cards. And I just had to do something else. While I was in college, I actually didn't really know what a college scholarship was until a football coach, when I was a freshman or a sophomore, said, hey, if you keep going as good as you're going, and if you keep improving and listening to coaches, you could get a scholarship to go to college. And I said, with my background of knowing that nobody in my family had ever gone to college, I didn't think going to college was even in the universe for me. And I said to him, what's a scholarship? And he said, well, they give you money if you're good enough to go contribute and play on the football team. And I'm like, I can do that. I mean, I can go to college? Yes. Well, I went to college. Upon going there, before I went, and you have to decide what major you're going to get. So I went to my school library and I looked up what jobs make the most amount of money out of college. And it said engineering. I said, that's it. I'm going to be an engineer. So I start in a pre-engineering in my freshman year. And it was let's just say light years away from my smartness. It was way, 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 way up here. And when you're on scholarship, you have to maintain a certain grade point average or you lose your scholarship. That's part of being a student athlete. And I quickly, after about 2 months, realized engineering is not in my future. And the only reason I say that is because 30 years later, I'm president of an engineering firm. Which I think there's irony. I gotta let that story bake a little bit, but I think there's some weird level of irony. I'm not an engineer. I know very little about the technicality of being an engineer, but I do know how to build a business and hire great engineers and hire great operators and hire great tech people. There's a great book that I encourage everybody here to read if you're in business. The book is called Who, Not How. And what that taught me was I don't have to be the engineer. I got to go find those engineers. I've got to recruit them. I've got to paint the picture of the future. I've got to share with them their level of impact should they join this startup company in the United States. And I've managed to do that over the last 3 years, is attract great talent. But while I was in college, I decided, okay, number one, making degree engineering. That's not for me. What's number two? Math. Okay, I'll major in math. Well, another 2 months later, I realized that wasn't going to work either. I said, okay, computer programming. That's what it's going to be. And I studied COBOL. And if you're old enough, you know what this is. Pascal, COBOL, Fortran. And I was fortunate enough to have a professor who came up to me after the midterm exams, and he just said, listen, I like you. You're a nice guy. I saw you cheating on the test. I see how hard you're working to get this class right. He goes, I'm just being honest with you. This probably isn't for you. Now, that was a hard conversation for me to hear, but I bet it was even harder for him to say. But he cared. Here's a lesson for everybody. He cared enough about me to kindly tell me something difficult. And I didn't know what to do. And he said, there's a lady named Dr. Pam Mickelson over in the business area. And I said, well, I'm no businessman. He goes, well, you're personable. You're a likable guy. You seem to be outgoing. That's what business is about. And he goes, just go meet with her. And I went over and met with her, and she was the nicest, most welcoming. She said, come join this class. And it was a class on sales management. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know much about sales either. But I'm taking this class and I'm going, this is easy. What are you talking about? Set a goal. I know how to do that. Inspire other people. I know how to do that. Work hard. I know how to do that. Set small targets. I know how to do that. And it was like, the kimono opened and I'm like, this I can do. That's how I got into business. And wow. as I was taking courses, I fell more in love, and I didn't love all of it. Accounting, economics, you got to do that stuff, but I fell more and more in love with it. And then I realized the road I was going to go in was sales, because I could do that. I could communicate. I knew how to set targets. I knew how to hustle. I figured if I could just learn a little bit about effective communication, influence, and persuasion, I could do all right. And it's kind of turned out that way.
Mm-hmm. Now, a couple of things when you were talking about your engineering, math, and discovery. Wouldn't it be great? And one of my most popular articles I used to write for the the newspaper where the kids grew up, and people still have that clip by the cash register businesses down on Main Street, which was, wouldn't it be wonderful if schools, high schools and colleges were there to help students explore different things to find out what they're good at and not good at, instead of having them choose. They have no clue. Yep. And then they're stuck, right? Just like you do a job, this whole BS belief system that life is about finding something you're not good at, but finding something that you stick with, because you got to be an expert and not, master of none, jack of all. So you're forced to do one thing that you have no clue if you're good at. And you were very fortunate to have that professor tell you lovingly, this ain't for you. Yeah, right? So the only reason I got through physics is I dated my TA. I hate physics. I'm horrible at physics, right? So anyways, I digress. But I think it's wonderful that you had someone do that for you. I had a math teacher also say, this is not your thing. I had a psychology program manager that said clinical's not your thing. The only way you're going to be successful as a psychologist is to set up a practice in Beverly Hills with businessmen who need some help with leverage. Lovingly communicated to me. Anyways, I've never said that out loud.
That's why we have these shows. Spill the tea.
So that's a cool, ironic engineering. Would you say then that the key to business success is not necessarily knowing the content field, but the process behind the content for business growth?
Well, okay, for business growth, there's the science, which is saying you got to have something to sell and you got to be able to deliver what you sell. You want me to break it down into the most simplest aspects? How are you going to sell it? How are you going to deliver it as good or better than you sell it? There's the broad basics. Now, when you say business success, there's different levels. There's starting a company and building it. There's having a company that is doing okay, but you make changes in sale and how they market it and how they sell it and how they deliver it, what they do after they deliver it, right? There's all different multiple areas of business growth. But if we're talking building something out of nothing, a startup, which is basically what I've done with GeoBear. Yes, it's a 40-year-old company in Finland, but it's a brand new company in the United States. Now we're 3 years old, so it's not brand new right now. But step number one, identifying what it is you're going to sell. And the step before that is identifying the problem in the marketplace that you can uniquely solve. If there's no problem, then you're going to have a hard road. Now, what intrigued me about coming into this business in Southern California is that dirt always moves. There's always going to be shifting, whether it's tremors and earthquakes, whether it's too much rain, whether it's too much drought. Earth always moves. The problem that gets solved will always be a problem. It will never not be a problem. So that's step one. Are you going into something where there's a problem? Yes. Does it permeate, meaning happening recurrently? Yes. Great. So let's get in the middle of that.
I like the way you turned. Usually we think of problem as a negative thing or a bad thing, but in this case, it's a good thing because you are solving a problem with your service or product, right? The need.
Yeah, I mean, even if let's just take some different examples. If you're a coach, the epitome of what you do is using your language patterns and your questioning tactics is you elicit the real problem of the person that is considering hiring you for a coach. And once you understand their current state, then it's a simple matter of saying, okay, where do you want to be? and eliciting that. Now, you would be surprised, because I've coached a lot of people, how hard it is for people to accurately or adequately describe where it is they want to be. And that can take work. And when you, as an audience member, as a listener, when you say, okay, here's where I am and here's the reality of where I am, and here's where I want to be. This could be in your finances, it could be in your relationship, it could be in your career, it could be in your fitness or your body. That's the premise. Then between where you are and where you want to be, there is a gap. That gap is almost always skill set, knowledge, or discipline. And most of the time, it's all three. What a great coach does for you, it is exactly that in a nutshell. They're going to add value by teaching you things they know. They're going to enhance your skill set. They're going to hold you accountable to do the things you said you would do. Let's take a very simple example. You've got a big event coming up and you want to lose that 20 pounds. And I know I've been there many times, so I can speak to this as an expert. If you know what I mean. I've been there. Yeah. Or 10 pounds. And that event is in 60 days. Well, you can try to wait till a week before and starve yourself. And we all know that's a difficult road. Or you say, okay, now I got 90 days. What are some changes I can make in my current activity to take me towards what it is I want to do, which is achieve that number? I always do better, Dr. Marissa, when there's a target and a timeline. Got this big event coming up. For example, I'm going to a big event this Saturday, and I'm going to be around a lot of influential people. I want to show up looking my best. So, you start making some basic changes, reduce, eliminate sugar, drink more water, no soda. Little things you can do along the way. And that's what I encourage everybody is like, if you're frustrated, disgruntled, sad, mad, pissed off, whatever, then say, okay, what is my current situation? What do I desire the situation to be? And what do I need to do? And if you're somebody who, for some reason, you get that, but you just can't get yourself going or stay on it, or you start and you stop, then I highly advise you, get yourself a coach, pay them a little bit of money, and have them hold you accountable to do the things that you need to do to get to where you want. That's just my take. I'm not a personal coach at all, so I'm not pitching any services. I'm just saying, when I've been in those states, and I just like anybody, just like you, I get in them. I'm finding who else has achieved what I want to achieve. How do I study their material, listen to them on YouTube, listen to them on a podcast, read their book. That's been the salvation for me to be able to build the things I built, because I go find the smart people and buy their stuff and read it. And then I can apply it. Like, my gosh, people are in my days of at Gateway Computers. You remember Gateway Computer, Dr. Marissa, right? I started when the company was very small. We did pretty good. We built it to 11 billion in 1 year in 2001.
Wow.
But when I started selling computers over the phone on the night shift, I was reading these books by guys named Zig Ziglar. I know you know the name Zig Ziglar. See You at the Top, You Were Born to Win. I was reading this stuff. I was reading Tommy Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling. And the more I read this stuff, it seemed, the better my behavior was. It seemed to have direct influence on me becoming one of the top sellers among hundreds of sellers. Then I started reading more Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy. You know these guys, right? The old school, the OGs of the OGs.
Yeah.
And that helped me become a better manager. Then it helped me become a better trainer of sales. I developed a selling system after seeing Tommy Hopkins in a seminar when I was 24. And I'm like, oh, he's got it broken out this way. And there's a series of steps, and it's chunked in a way that's digestible. So I took the role of building the first sales training program for Gateway Computers before we went public, before it was multi-billions of dollars. But all of that came because I found the information from other people.
Yeah,
I'll
it
tell
sounds
you,
like.
I'll
Go
tell
ahead.
you right now, whether you know this, Dr. Marissa, that when you seek something, you find something. You may not find exactly what you thought you were looking for, but if you say, I'm going to go get that book, I'm going to subscribe to Dr. Marissa's podcast and listen while I drive. That's not so hard. People say, oh, I don't have time for podcasts. Really? You don't drive to the grocery store? You don't take your kids to school? You don't have to drive anywhere? Like you can get 5 minutes. And you'd be surprised at how many people say, yeah, but I'm like, it's free. What else?
Exactly.
It's free. You click a button and you can hear from anybody that inspires you, anybody that you look up to. They got a podcast and you get to hear what's on their mind right now.
Yeah.
I still have all of my old tapes and CDs. As you know, Tony Robbins was, massive in my world. Just think about this, Marissa. I'm in tiny town, Iowa. And then we moved to South Dakota, North Sioux City, South Dakota. And I'm reading Tony Robbins' books. I'm listening to his tapes and then CDs in a small, little, tiny community. There were no seminars in Tiny Town, USA. But can you imagine the fact that 15 years later, I get, out of the millions of people that could be called, I get the call to come and work. I was hand-selected, hand-recruited to go be Tony Robbins' right-hand man.
That's
How
amazing.
does that happen?
Well,
How does
that
it happen?
happens. I think the foundation, what I'm hearing is you don't think you know everything. You know that you can learn. You want to learn. You want to expand. You want to learn from other people. You're not afraid to say, I don't know, and let me figure out how to know. And that's it sounds so commonsensical and sounds so like, of course, why wouldn't you do that? But there's a lot of people out there, either they're afraid to do it because they're perfectionists and don't want to fail and can't admit that they don't know, or they have such a horrible past that have defined who they think they are, what happened to them, and therefore I'm not worthy, or I'm a piece of shiitake and this is my lot in life, or they're afraid to fail and look like an idiot. So there's just three. I'm sure there's more, but if you're listening, our resident preacher right now, if you want something, if you want to get somewhere that you're not, where either emotionally, intellectually, mentally, physically, then go find someone that you would like to learn from because they're practicing what they teach. That's another whole topic, but there's so much for free. We're so fortunate. Oh my God. YouTube, social media. It's no longer people who bash it. It's like you're missing out here. We don't have to go to an encyclopedia, if you remember those days, to look things up. Now we just say, hey, my assistant Google, what is blah, 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 blah. And then you get a plethora of stuff. We live in such a content rich, and you have to use some discernment. Where's the news coming from? But the fact that you can grow and expand free from the comfort of your car or your office or your computer, your smartphone, whatever it is, it's amazing. So, gospel according to Nike, just do it. 15 minutes a day. That's what I coach it. Just 15 minutes a day. Let's just make the start. And if you're wondering who's in my studio today, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my show Central for the past 629 consecutive weeks.
Nice.
But who's counting? Podcast number 1166. I do have a very kindred soul. It's funny, you meet people, you automatically connect. You don't even see them that often, but you just know they get you, you get them. And it's such a delight to catch up with him on the show today. His name is Gene McNaughton. He was, as you heard, the right-hand man for Tony Robbins. That's what triggered my ear when he was first introduced on Greg Reid's Secret Knock stage. I think I was speaking that year, actually sharing that particular, and that's how we connected as fellow speakers. And it's been, I didn't realize it was 10 years though. I'm hashtag ageless. So are you. But he is now the president of GeoBear, a company based in Finland. I didn't know that, who hired Gene to take their business global, starting with coming to the States. And he is enlightening us with what it takes if you want to be a business or a success in business. He's giving recommendations on books, as well as what are the actions and the thinking behind success is what I'm hearing. It doesn't matter what field is, but if you would like to be a success, you can't just sit and meditate and eat bonbons or have ice cream under your covers. There's things you have to do. And the three things I started, you close the gap with skill, discipline, and what was the third one?
Knowledge.
Okay, that's the one I'm going to put this up.
Yeah, let's review it again. It's like, be honest where you are. If you're feeling frustrated, down, unhappy, if you're feeling just blah, then I say, okay, and you don't want to feel that way. I think there are some people that are completely happy feeling that way, and I just say, do you? It's all good. But if that's not you, the simplest way to get it, this is not, I didn't make this up. This is the stuff that I learned, and very basic. Where are you? And be honest with yourself. And where do you want to be in a timeline? Now, one thing I want to add, Dr. Marissa, is that people tend to overestimate what they can do in 30 days, AKA New Year's resolutions, but they radically underestimate what they can do in a year. And we radically underestimate what we can do in 5 years. And even more, we radically underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Here's why I say that. You will arrive somewhere in 10 years. There's a 95% plus chance that you're going to arrive somewhere in 10 years. You agree with me, Dr. Marissa?
I absolutely do.
Right. You'd be surprised when I say this to people and they go, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive then. You're kind of like, just poo-poo the whole thing. I may not even be alive. So what if you are? What if you are? So those of you that are poo-pooing this, then, okay, you do you. Hang up.
Exactly.
But if you think about what's ideal in 10 years, there is such beautiful science right now. The hot trend is the science of future self. There's a guy by the name of Dr. Ben Hardy. I've been following his work. If you've never heard of him, I advise you get his book. It's $10 to get his book, or get on his podcast. It's free. But he's a social research scientist. So he's not a sales guy. He's not a business guy, but his job is to study the best of the best of this science of future self. Basically, in a nutshell, it says that it edifies what I just said. Very few people can think, 10 years out or 20 years out, but let's just use 10 years. And if you looked at your current situation and you looked at your desired situation, that for me, that would be when I'm 75 years old. I can't even fathom it, but there's probably a more than 80% chance, barring anything crazy, that I'm going to live to be 75. And frankly, I've already written out my goals for when I turn 100. I know that sounds a little weird, but why not? What's it hurt for me to say, when I'm 100, here's some things that I want to happen. When I'm 100, I don't just want to be alive. I want to have energy to be able to play with and coach my great, whatever it is, grandson's baseball team. That's a different goal than just trying to skim over the edge of being 100 and being alive. I want to have the energy to do things with my grandkids and my kids and my family. I want to have the energy to golf. Now, some are saying, well, that's a little crazy. Okay. But guess what? When I get really clear on that, when I'm 100, when I'm 75, when I'm 65, ironically, Dr. Marissa, it changes my little habits today. Mm-hmm. It changes some of the things that I do that maybe aren't so healthy. Like, believe it or not, I was able to say no to brownies and ice cream last night at 10 o'clock. I know that's a big breakthrough, but I did say no because I'm going to this event on Saturday and I want to look as thin and as good as I can. But you know what I mean? Like you want to have some discipline, get clear on what it is you want and let that future pull you a little bit. Dr. Marissa, this is stuff that's hot on my mind. Are you okay if we just free flow here?
Go.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
This is deep.
Yeah. Ready.
And I want everybody to pay attention. If you're driving, pay attention to this. Here's what it is. Most people believe that the past created their present. Do you agree with that?
That their past created their present. It shaped the present. Yes.
Okay.
It shapes your present. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I would argue, and I want you to think about this, that it's your present that shapes your past.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Why?
So what you think now reflects how you see your past?
You get to choose how you frame the past.
Correct.
Okay. So
we're on the same page on that one.
Yeah, you get to choose how you frame your past. Did your past happen to you? Oh, I got divorced. This person stole money. I'm not a good public speaker. I tried getting up in front of that group and I stumbled on my words. I started this job and I got fired. Now, if I only thought about that in my past, of which all those things happened, my friends, I would have a pretty shitty present.
Oh, we got to watch FCC here.
Forgot. Sorry, I thought we were on podcast.
Hopefully JD caught that one. I forgot to remind you.
Okay, I'm just saying this, that you can frame and shape your past the way you want it, and you can do it in a way that serves you. The challenge is most people will dwell on their valleys, their challenges, their problems. That thing happened to me. I didn't do good at that. I failed at that. I tried that and I didn't get it. And if you are thinking only about those things, it makes your present circumstance not as good as it could and should be. That if you can start looking at your past as serving you, and I was coaching, I am coaching, I do take on a client now and then that really needs my help and is willing to pay the money to have me coach them. And it's not cheap. And he's making a big life change and wants me to guide him through it. And I was talking to him about, I helped him. He didn't even have a resume. So let's start there. But I'm going through his history of accomplishment. He's in his 50s, so he's had a few jobs. And he was top performer here, and he built something here, and he created something there. And I'm like, dude, on paper, like, why are you depressed? Like, look at everything it is you've done. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, that's pretty good. But, I got divorced. I had a drug issue. And I can just see his whole physiology. All he's thinking about are all the negative things that happened to him in his life. And if there's anybody watching this, you've had negative things happen in your life. I have. Dr. Marissa has. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but the people that really make it are the ones that can compartmentalize that and say, okay, that happened, and that's okay. Because now, you think about these language patterns. You know what? I was an alcoholic, and that's okay, because I'm in recovery because I haven't had a drink in 6 years. That's okay. What are you going to do? Beat yourself up for something that happened in the past? If you've addressed it, yeah, that happened. But because of that, I met this person and I did this and I did that. So lesson 1, your present moment is your decision. Your present mindset is your decision. And that decision really comes based on what it is you focused on and shaping your past.
Yeah.
Now the second thing to think about is you want to really get inspired is give yourself an inspiring future. You mentioned success, and there's a lot of varieties of success. Here's a simple way to look at it is progress towards something worthwhile. That's when I feel successful. By the way, awards, accolades, big things, winning, when it actually happens, you're going to hear this, and it's probably happened to you too, is that you actually get there and you're like, is this all there is? That you are happiness in the pursuit. And when you get there, it's like, oh, I thought there would be like these fireworks exploding and everybody would come running up to me, and it's like, it doesn't work that way when you actually achieve it. The people that are the happiest, that live the longest, are the ones that are saying, okay, I made it there and now I want to get here. Matthew McConaughey, I love when he said, who's your hero? And he said, myself in 10 years. How beautiful is that?
Wow. I hadn't heard that before. I love learning
my
new
God.
things. Wow.
By the way,
love it. I love it.
Put that book, for anybody who is saying, hey, what's a great book? Go get Greenlight by Matthew McConaughey. He wrote a beautiful book about inspiration. You see Matthew McConaughey, he's won all these awards, super handsome guy. He was in the gutter and in the pits and did some stupid things. But he was interviewed, and I saw this interview, and he said, who are your heroes? And he said, myself in 10 years, because that guy's going to be something special.
Yes.
He understands this future self concept.
Yes, he does. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, I have a very special guest on with me. His name is Matthew McConaughey. No, his name is Gene McNaughton, and he's drawing gems from different people and just sharing with us more than business success. It's about success and personal success and interpersonal success, which is, I love that we're talking about this. He's like preaching to the choir. He's emphasizing things that I'm always asking you to consider. And the most important one that I want to anchor this particular moment on is, it is it's not the C word that's difficult. It's choice. You have the most powerful tool in life, and it's called choice. And you were talking about, it's not what happened to you, it's what happened for you. It's all the things that you hang your hat on why things are bad can be the same things that you hang your hat on why you are as good as you are now. And I remember that moment when I had a choice. I could spend the rest of my life pissed off, righteously indignant about the abuse that I had as a child and about losing millions of dollars to my husband, right? I had a choice. I had already done it for 10 years. I'd lost 10 years of my life. It's interesting you said 10 years of my life blaming and then shaming all the things that I had a right to be pissed off at, had a right to be angry about, had a right to be depressed about. And I could do that for another 30 years, 3 times 10 years. And I made a choice and I said, I can either see it as this was done and it's horrible, it shouldn't happen, or it was done. And what did I get from that? What did I learn from that? What was developed in me as a direct result of the poop? Like, what did that poop fertilize in me to grow into the magnificence, 88% of the time, of who I am. And Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith was my teacher who asked me that exact question. We were talking about being called fat, ugly, and clumsy, and all the things that had been done to me. And his response was, if that was exactly the way it was, and you can't change it, what was birthed in you as a direct result of that?
Whoa.
And you like it. And boom, mic drop. It was that point where I went, whoa, and I can have this magnificent life because I'm choosing now to say she did the best that she could with what she had and where she was. She really did. And I don't hate her, right? 88% of the time. 12% of the time when I see her, she still says, did you gain weight? There's that moment of, but I have chosen to see the past as a growth opportunity, as Gene is encouraging us all to do. You, right now, if there's something you don't like about yourself, maybe not 30 days, maybe not even a year, but what is it that you want? How am I doing on personalizing what you're teaching here?
I think you're doing a great job. Here's the thing that I hope everybody gets. It's all available. The how to anything it is you want is on Google or YouTube. Like how to reprogram my remote that's 10 years old. I found that on YouTube, fixed it. Yeah. It's all there. It's saying, okay, what's your level of desire to do something to feel better, just to feel better? It would start with saying, okay, who are the voices you're listening to? Are you around people that are in the same mindset or dragging you down? Dr. Marissa, I'm sure, has said we become a sum of the 5 people we're around the most. That is so, so, so true. Is your peer group one that is propelling you, encouraging you, cheering for you, or is it the opposite? I mean, you choose to be around these people, and I know it would be a hard choice. Tony Robbins said it best. Love your peer group, or what is it? Love your family, pick your peer group. That was because there are some people we just got to be around, and it's that uncle that comes in that we've all got these people.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have to give you some bad news. We're out of time.
Oh man. Okay.
Can you believe
That
it?
went fast.
It did, and I knew it would because we're having fun. Thank you so much. How do people find you if they want to
connect? LinkedIn, Instagram. It's all the same. Gene McNaughton, one word. Yeah. I was smart enough to get that done right away, so it's just my name. Any place you want to go, I'm there. Shoot me a note, and I'll be glad to do whatever I can to help you, or at least you can follow my stuff, because I lay a lot of these things out as I learn it and assimilate it. Then I just want to, maybe say it in a different way that more people can understand it. That's really what my mission is. I just want to help people, honestly.
I know. And that's why, he's here on my platform and as my friend. Thank you, Gene. You know the drill at the end, my peace thing. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Whoa. Deep. Deep and profound. I love it. I'll put it right above my Geo Bear so I can
yes, I see that. I see that. That's awesome.
I'm very proud of what this has become, considering it started from nothing. So I'm super proud.
It's awesome. You'll have to arrange a trip for me to go see the Aurora Borealis.
Okay. As soon as I figure out what that is, I'll make it happen.
Okay. Thanks so much, Gene. Thanks for tuning in. You can get this if you're just coming in now on my YouTube TV channel. Now go. Tomorrow is Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and Dr. Tiffany Tate, and we're talking about disentangling those difficult relationships, friends, family at work. So tune in tomorrow. Thanks so much. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Dr. Marissa reporting live now, wishing you the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.